Hey, it's Ross from RossLukeman.com. Today I want to talk to you about how to add these inline fuses to your van or RV electrical systems. Now this particular setup was from last week's video where I talked about integrating the sea level water tank monitoring system with the Victron Serbo GX. So be sure to check out that video if you haven't yet. In that particular video, I mentioned that I had added this inline fuse holder to the positive line powering the sea level monitor. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I added that inline fuse holder. You'll notice it's just a consistent red wire. We don't have all the splices like you do if you get a pre-made inline fuse holder. So this is what I used to use, but for particular reasons, I wanted my wires to be clean, just like they come from the manufacturer. So if you get something from Victron, it's going to have a nice clean inline fuse holder spliced in there. You're not going to have all of this that looks like an amateur did it. So with this particular one, you have wire gauge and wire color changes. You're going to have the butt splices, which are going to give you an extra voltage drop each time you splice that wire. Even at the fuse, you're going to have a slight voltage drop. So in my electrical systems, I try to eliminate the number of joints. So that's one of the improvements of just doing a seamless integration like that. Also, the butt splices are going to introduce additional failure points where it could pull apart. So for various reasons, aesthetics, function, and to work better electrically, I did not want to do this anymore. And I thought this was a lot more clean and it also functions better electrically. So I'm going to show you how to do it like that so your wires look like they came right out of a factory, right from the manufacturer. We're going to look at the crimper you need to do this and where I get my inline fuse holder. So it's not from Amazon, it's from an electronics supplier. I'm going to give you the part number and the brand of where I got these particular fuse holders. But before we get into that, if you're interested in your overall van or RV electrical system, not just your fuses, but things like solar, shore, and alternator power, I have a resource that you may be interested in called the Ultimate Van Power Cheat Sheet. It's got a discussion of those three major charging sources, solar, shore, and alternator power. And it's going to talk about how they each have strengths, but they each also have weaknesses. But when you bring them together in a holistic power strategy, it's going to make sure that you have a good charge source no matter where you go out on the road, so you can enjoy what you're doing out there and you're not going to be worried about running out of power. There's also a discussion of different battery types and the strengths and weaknesses of those. That's going to help you narrow in on which battery type is going to be right for your installation. And then lastly, there is a really cool diagram that is essentially your entire power system on one page. It's going to show those three major charging sources at the top, solar, shore, and alternator power. And it's going to show how they make their way through the system and come out to your end devices such as your phone charger, your laptop, or your microwave. For instance, how does the alternator power make its way through the system and come out and run your microwave and cook your food? So it's a really cool diagram that I think you'll find useful. To get your own copy of the Ultimate Van Power Cheat Sheet, all you have to do is click that link below or go to rosslukeman.com/vanpower. All right, with that, let's go ahead and get this display out of the way. We'll bring in our tabletop and I'll show you how to install one of these inline fuse holders. Now the key to having seamless inline fuses is to have unassembled inline fuse holders. As you see here, this particular unit was ordered from Mouser.com and it's made by Little Fuse. I'll go ahead and put the part number down below. So for each fuse holder that you order, you're going to get the two halves of the housing, one with a male thread, one with a female thread. You're going to have that internal spring and then two open barrel contacts. These are going to require an open barrel crimper. This is a crimper that makes a lot of automotive sealed connections, so it is a very useful tool. It's kind of a specialty tool, which we'll look at here in just a second. But the unassembled is the key word that you want to go for when you order these fuse holders. And that is going to give you those next level seamless inline fuses. Now for this particular fuse holder, we're going to look for a 5 by 20 millimeter glass fuse. And this holder can do up to 10 amps. But in a lot of applications, we're going to be at 500 milliamps, maybe 1 amp. But you can go up to 10 amps if you need to. The key thing you want to look for is that 5 by 20 millimeter size. The last item we're going to need is an open barrel terminal crimper. This one is from iWis. It's very affordable. I got it on Amazon for less than $20. I'll go ahead and put that part number down below. So there are many types of open barrel terminals. A lot of them are used in automotive applications, and there really is no substitute for this particular crimper when you have this type of terminal, because it's going to take the open barrel, which kind of looks like a three-sided terminal. It's going to take those side prongs and it's going to bend them back on each other and really grab onto that wire. And it's going to be much less likely that that connection is going to pull apart, and it's going to be a lot more electrically conductive than if you just use, say, a pair of needle nose pliers to crunch that together, which I've done in the past. I can tell you this is going to make a much better connection, and we're going to be using this today for our inline fuse. All right, so I wanted to give us kind of a real world application here. So we're going to be working on the ground cable for this 100 amp battery protect from Victron. So they are going to supply the ground wire or negative wire, and they ask that you put a minimum 300 milliamp fuse in this cable. And we're going to use it as our real world example. I'll get this out of here. So let's say that we're going to put the fuse in the middle of this wire. We will clip it in half. And we're going to strip back the end of each cable about 1/8 of an inch. And what we're going to do is bring in our fuse holder. We're going to clip each open barrel terminal off of the brass strip there. So on the female side, we're going to have this spring. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the housing and then the spring. So we've got the housing and the spring, and then we are going to have the terminal there. You can see the first set of prongs are going to go around the wire, and the second set are going to go around the wire insulation. So what we can do is go ahead and bring in our terminal crimper. You can see how it's bent those prongs over. And now we're going to do the same thing to the next set of prongs. All right, so you can see both sets of prongs have been folded over by the crimper. So this particular side is now complete, and the spring is in there, and we are ready to do the other side of the fuse holder. So with this side, we're going to thread the housing on first. Always an important step. During my testing, I determined that the 20 to 18 gauge size is perfect for this particular terminal. It may take a little bit of experimentation, but we're using the 20 to 18 gauge today. Just going to bring it into the crimper. Go ahead and crunch it down. All right, so our first crimp is complete. I'll go ahead and do the second crimp. All right, so both crimps are complete. We can bring our housing in, and we just need to assemble our fuse holder now. So we'll bring in the other side, grab one of our fuses. Going to thread that in there. And our inline fuse holder is complete. That's my video on how to add seamless professional inline fuses to your van or RV electrical systems. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you want more help with your overall electrical system, you got to grab a copy of the Ultimate Van Power Cheat Sheet. Just click that link below or go to rosslukman.com/vanpower. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.